as a renter, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But as a homeowner, all of those things now become your responsibility. That air conditioner that breaks, you have to fix that. When your sewer line backs up, you have to fix that. You're not calling the landlord and saying, hey, my sewer's backed up. All that stuff now becomes your responsibility.
Charles, didn't you want to talk about your inspection today?
I can absolutely show this disgusting thing. This is totally fine.
Disgusting thing.
I'm going to be talking about a sewer line, so I'm going to stress the importance of inspections, right? The sewer lateral inspection, I feel like, is probably one of the things that most people just don't really think about unless they're educated. Then to have an idea about what it actually is and what you're working with, right? So you're going to buy an older home. If you don't get a sewer lateral inspection, you are definitely going to be in for some things, most likely, because unless the seller has already replaced the sewer line, there is a good chance that there's something going on in that line. This house I just did the other day, I think it was 40s or 50s built. The entire line was cast iron. And so just to give it a backstory about what the actual sewer lateral is, the sewer lateral is the pipe that leaves your house and then connects to the city or county or whatever the municipality is. Whoever takes your poo water and takes it and treats it and gets rid of it, right? So your showers, your toilets. Now, this is not drains. This is not like storm waters, drains on the street. This is literally sewage. So anything that comes out of your house that is from your toilets, your showers, your sinks, all of that stuff is what goes in that line. Most modern houses have a plastic line. Anything that's built in the 70s, 80s, or anything before that will most likely have something called transite, which is like a mesh between concrete and asbestos and a few other things. And then before that, they used clay, they used cast iron, they used Orangeburg, all these different types of materials that they were experimenting with over the years and figured out this was that. So anyways, this is the typical cast iron line. This is what a normal cast iron line would look like. As you can see, lots of rust and scale and all that all around the sides and all that. So in this particular case, the line itself wasn't too bad. I mean, running through it, it was, fairly decent. After I got to a certain point, there was an obstruction in the line. And this was the craziest thing about this, though. So as you can see, you can see here, right? Here, let me pause that. So what do we see here? We
That's
see
like a bunch of marbles.
Yeah, let me back up a little bit. All right, so what's that? What does that look like?
Oh my God, that looked like some Halloween pre-candy bags.
That is a Ziploc bag, right?
Yeah.
Why is there a Ziploc bag in the sewer line, right? Okay, just crazy stuff like this, right? So now back up a little bit more. This yard has lots of bark in it, right? So that particular area, there's like some bark and some other stuff. This initially, when I did this inspection, we had ran water. And so this particular area, since it's raised a little bit because of all this junk that's in here, you couldn't see it. So it was all underwater and you couldn't really see what was going on. So, my initial suggestion was to have a plumber come out and water jet or snake the line, and because I couldn't see what was blocking it, right? I went back today myself before the plumber got there, and then I ran my camera again, and since everything was dry, there hadn't been any water ran through it for a while, and nothing was flushed or nothing like that. I was able to see a lot more about what was going on. And once I saw the bark in this plastic bag that was perfectly shaped and nothing was wrong with it, I was just like, there's got to be something going on, right? So I used my locator, I found where it was, ended up finding out after all of this. Plumber came in, and then, we were kind of collaborating on it, trying to figure out what was going on. Come to find out that there's actually a Y that's in this line, and you can actually see that's where the bag's coming from.
Oh,
and so
what?
the plumber so it's a Y. So basically, it was a section where you can normally access the line. Either something's going to come in, or you can access it with a camera or a snake or something like that. But it was actually to the side, right? So as you can see, it's like it's over here to the right. Why they did that, I have no idea. I'm not sure what the situation is. I mean, this house is almost 100 years old, so there's a lot going on in this. There's a couple of other sections that I'm going to suggest that, they clean through also. But bottom line is there was a hole in the yard right in this vicinity, not right over the top of this, but kind of nearby. And you could tell it was like a gopher or, like a squirrel or something like that was digging holes and actually going underground. It wasn't directly over this. Come to find out, either there was a cap on this line, maybe a rubber cap or something else that they used to cap this off, or they just never did and they just put soil in there. At some point, this gopher, squirrel, whatever it was, animal, found out that there was an opening in the sewer line, probably because there was a little bit of moisture in the soil, burrowed its way in there and said, oh, look, a home. I can put some stuff in here for winter, whatever, And so plumber says, oh yeah, let's run some water. All right, cool. Let me go get out there and check my camera out. Running water's just all into the line here. I think this is it right here. Yeah, so he turns on the water and it's just leaking.
Oh,
leaking all through. just leaking all through there. So it's just like, well, there's an opening there, obviously. So basically we went from, talking about him snaking the line to that this area is actually going to need to be dug up and actually repaired. So, this is something that can end up costing thousands of dollars, right? But the point is that when a plumber now has to come in and do a repair on something like this is something that no one would have had any idea about, because even when we're running water through the entire house. We run in the tub and the sinks and all these things to test them all. It's not like water was gurgling out of the ground, right? Because everything was flowing fairly good. This is about 1.5 feet, 2 feet down. Everything's flowing well, everything's doing fine. But no one would have known about this problem unless you would have done some kind of sewer lateral inspection. And that's the thing. Older homes with trees, all that kind of stuff. There's all these things that can happen. I've actually done a home that was in Thomas. I did a home out there that was, at the time, it was about 15 years old. That particular city, in that particular subdivision, used PVC lines instead of ABS. ABS is more likely to crack when roots and things were pushing next to it, where PVC is more likely to bend because it's a little bit thinner and the plastic's a little bit more malleable. The root didn't break through the line, but it dented it and impacted it so much that it was halfway obstructed by that root. And this was a newer house in Thomas, in a newer neighborhood. And it was a short run too. From the house to the street was maybe like 10 feet. That's the reason why. And again, it's not about what's the situation at the time. You got to think about what you're doing, right? You got to think about how much money are you spending on this house, right? $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, if not more than that. And then how much more are you going to have to come out of pocket to fix these things that you don't know about?
What about homes that are like condos? Because condos, you have HOAs and they normally take care of the outside exterior, like the drywall, the pests, all of that, even the roof, right? Do they take care of something like this?
So typically in those neighborhoods, in those communities, they're going to take care of anything outside of your home. And so, but it all depends. Every single condo community is different. I've been in some condo communities where you had to take care of your section of the roof, even though the entire roof was one layer and it was all one piece. The section that was directly above your house, you were responsible monetarily for if something happened to it, right? And so that particular buyer had us do the inspection on the roof because they wanted to know what the quality of it was. Before you go into these transactions, find out what the HOA community is going to cover. In most cases, when you're in a big community that's basically like an apartment and that's the style of condo community it is, most likely they're going to be handling things like that. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop you from having issues with, blockages and things like that. I guess that's one of the trade-offs of living in a condo community is there's a lot of things you don't have to deal with, but there's a lot of things that you now have to share, right? It's kind of like living in an apartment complex, except you have owners in most cases. So most owners are a lot more, good about taking care of things than, maybe renters would be in a lot of cases, right? But yeah, in most cases, they will take care of that, but it's always a good idea to check to find out exactly what they cover and exactly what they don't.
Did you want to add to that, Lisa?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the scope of all of this work and everything like that. The older the house is, the more you're going to have to do all these inspections and stuff. So it's good that you have all of that set and ready.
And I know we're not going to talk about that video, Chia, but that was one of the things that I remember hearing. This was just a video that Chia shared with us prior. It was talking about home maintenance costs, right? You needing to save about 1% of the value or cost of the house in maintenance costs, right? And that's the kind of thing you have to think about, right? So as a renter, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But as a homeowner, all of those things now become your responsibility. That air conditioner that breaks, you have to fix that. When your sewer line backs up, you have to fix that. You're not calling the landlord and saying, hey, my sewer's backed up. All that stuff now becomes your responsibility. And so maintenance becomes key at that point. Try to get in front of it and find out these things ahead of time and do as much maintenance. And I always encourage you to do the maintenance yourself because you're going to save some money. Learn how to do it on your own, because now as you're a homeowner, you got to deal with that. That's all first-time homeowner stuff, but it's a big deal, definitely.
Yes, it is. Maintenance. All right. Well, with that, we're going to close out. Thank you, everyone. That is the show for today. Anything else you guys want to close out on, Charles, Lisa?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I'll catch you guys next time, Chi fams. Peace out. Thank you again for everything y'all do. Later.